Hi, I'm Steve Lombardi, son of World War II First Lieutenant James C. Lombardi of Everett, Massachusetts. The son of Italian immigrants, Jim was a B-24 bomber pilot with the 450th Bomb Group, 15th Air Force stationed in Manduria, Italy. As part of the original 450th from its beginning in Alamogordo, Mexico to its first missions in January 1944, Jim flew 39 missions throughout Southern Europe as part of the Combined Bomber Offensive that focused its efforts on attacking aircraft manufacturing plants, oil production facilities, and strategic targets in support of ground offensives. Key missions included the Regensburg Airdrome in southern Germany, the myriad oil refineries in the Caucasus Mountains in Eastern Europe and around Vienna, Austria, and the submarine pens in Toulon Harbor near Marseille, France. On May 31st of that year, just 1 week before D-Day, Jim was shot down on his fourth mission over the Ploesti oil fields, a key site for the 15th Air Force as it was Germany's main source of raw petroleum. On that fateful day, Jim flew the lead plane in the 2nd Attack Unit of the 47th Wing, part of an armada of 443 bombers and 238 fighters. Just outside of the oil fields, Jim's plane lost an engine due to flak, but kept going to lead the attack unit to the target. A second engine was lost to flak on the way out, and the damaged bomber got stranded from the main group as it sought lower altitude. Minutes later, it was attacked by 12 German fighters. The crew engaged and shot 2 fighters from the sky, but the fighters inflicted mortal damage to the plane, losing a third engine whose wing caught on fire. Jim and his co-pilot, Jim Althouse, kept the plane aloft until 6 of the crew could parachute to safety. Soon after, the plane went into a dive, and with courage and skill, the pilot somehow regained control so they and the bombardier, Ken Barney, could parachute to safety. In the attack, 2 crew members died, the belly gunner Raymond Sinclair due to enemy fire, and the navigator Lex Blankenship who was strafed in his parachute. Many were injured, including Jim, who caught flak to his temple in the melee. The doctors told him when he returned to safety that if the flak had entered his head by just a quarter of an inch difference, he would have been killed instantly. The surviving 8 airmen were caught and imprisoned by the Romanians in Bucharest. The officers were kept in a school near the marshalling yards in the city center, a major transportation hub for shipping refined oil to Germany. There they waited out the war in grave danger as the marshalling yards were bombed day and night by the Allies. They were aided in their imprisonment by the Crown Princess of Romania, Catherine Karadzic, who was in exile in the convent next to the school. She had contacts with the Red Cross and was able to get the prisoners extra food and medical supplies, which kept many of the men alive in their captivity. In September of 1944, the POW staged the only successful mass escape of a POW camp in the 20th century. The Romanians in August had switched sides in the war as they became more worried about the oncoming Russian army than the weakened Germans. To begin the escape, the Romanians flew the commanding officer of the POW camp to Bari, Italy, headquarters of the 15th Air Force, in the fuselage of a Romanian fighter. When the 15th Air Force commanders caught sight of the officer, they sensed the opportunity at hand and sent several modified B-17s with massive fighter support to Bucharest to ferry the roughly 1,100 POWs to safety. My grandparents, Alphonse and Angelina Lombardi, morose after having received the news in early June that Jim was MIA after being shot down, were ecstatic when they heard the news in mid-September from 15th Air Force headquarters that Jim was alive and back in Italy. Jim came home to a hero's welcome in mid-October to his family and to his sweetheart, Annie Key, whom he had met prior to the war. Once home, Jim learned that he and his crew had been awarded the Silver Star and Purple Hearts for their heroic mission to Ploesti. Jim was also awarded the several air medals and unit citations for other missions, including the historic raid on the Regensburg Airdrome in February of that year and the April mission to Ploesti. These medals and their recognition of excellence and bravery were little relief, though, from the memory of his lost crew members, which haunted him until the day he died in 1984. Like any son, I always looked up to my dad. Like his generation of World War II heroes, he never ever spoke about the war. I knew that experience must have had a great impact on him, but I didn't have the context to understand his enigmatic personality. After finding his diary as a POW after his death, I began a quest to better understand his story. With the help of many, many people, I now know how brave and talented he was during that crucial year of 1944 for him, his crew, his country, and the world. Dad, you are my hero.